Well, maybe, I grew up in a military, very conservative Catholic background, and certain things are considered received wisdom and not to be questioned. And of course, that, you know, can be very comforting for some, but it's sort of scared me. And I knew I was different in terms of my sexuality quite young, and had sort of an understanding that I'd probably deal with that later at some point. There was an understanding that I wasn't really ready to do that till the end of college, which was a strange time to come out because AIDS had just hit, and it was a complicated time, and life and death was involved, and but also I was very excited about entering the world as an adult and a sexual being and someone who could actually be loved or love someone, because I wasn't really into girls, so I didn't really have that outlet or opportunity to feel those things. So I was like the first generation of people who came out understanding that safe sex was important. And people just a couple years older than me were dying, so, even a year older. And it was very strange. And I was an actor, and at that time in the early 80s, you just didn't really come out, and still it's very uncommon for actors to talk about their sexuality lest they be discriminated against, and people think, oh, well, you're gay, so you can't play straight. Though if you're straight and you play gay, that's generally a requirement for a major award. So I thought there was a strange, intensity about it. It seems stupid to be scared and in the closet, thinking about being in the closet when people were dying, and Reagan was doing so little, and it was but again, it was people who weren't exactly my peers who were dying. So it was a very strange but exciting time to be hitting your adolescence you know, at that very serious time. And when you're young, you think you know stuff and you don't. And about relationships, certainly there's a kind of, you can read about how things go, and that's our first way of, or or now in a more, perhaps more visual, cinematic way. Uh, you get you do your research on what you're supposed to, what you're supposed to learn about love, about life, about everything, and you have these preformed opinions, and especially now in this information age, there's a kind of uh, false false wisdom or digested kind of, well, what do you think, and it's like your comment on this, post a comment, and will North Korea attack, you vote, and it's like this sort of false kind of like knowledge that people foist on you, and you're supposed to have it, you're on Facebook and you're supposed to know your sexual orientation at 13. It's like, nobody really knows what's going on at that time, and people seem to know stuff, or they have to act like they do, and they make good decisions before they really need to, and it's a strange thing. So I did that a bit too, and then, the older you get, realize the less you know, and you know some things, and um, I guess the key thing is to don't make a decision based on some fear of the unknown. I mean, I make decisions based on fear of the known all the time. I mean, that's what the voting booth is hopefully for. But if it's something based on fear of the unknown, it's probably a bad decision. That's the only thing I know.